Welcome to Fill the Screams podcast. Today we'll be talking about the movie Trap, where Josh Hartnett takes his daughter to a concert and realizes that they are setting up a trap to catch a serial killer, but he is that serial killer. It's a cool premise. I remember when it came out for the trailer. I mean, just picturing Josh Hartnett as a villain or a killer himself. It's interesting as it is. But, this whole concept of him being at the concert and him being trapped, you gotta see it. And I finally got around to it, and I mean, we're just gonna dive right in. So if you haven't seen it, we're gonna get into spoilers. And here we go. So the beginning, we got Josh Hartnett, or Cooper. Cooper's his character's name. They're driving to the concert. His daughter Riley, which the girl who plays Riley, she did fairly well acting wise. Her name's Ariel Donahue. She did a pretty good job in her role. There's a lot of characters in this movie that act kind of odd, but her character is not one, and she kind of puts Josh Hartnett in his place when he starts acting like an oddball as the movie goes. But as they're going through the venue, Josh Hartnett, he's acting like a good dad. Riley's like, "Dad, I want to go over here and dance." And he's like, "Yeah, Riley. Good job, Riley." And he's like recording her. You're like, oh, he's a good dad. But he started noticing cops at all the exits, at all the doors, and, he starts to get a little worried. So everything seems normal in this movie until they go to a little vendor where there's merchandise. Riley wants a shirt, and this other girl comes up. She goes, I want that shirt. I was here first. And you notice there's a little tension, and Josh Hartnett, he's like, "Oh, Riley, let's just let her have one. We'll look around, and maybe we'll find another one." And the merch guy, he's like, "Oh, you're a man of great values. I can tell that. You have a good family. We appreciate that. Like, just wait around, and we'll probably have another one in another 10 minutes. And Josh Hartnett's like, "Oh, okay, thanks." And even the way that guy delivered that line, it was kind of odd in the first place. And Josh Hartnett kind of walks away, but then he comes back and he's like, "Hey, come here." And for whatever reason, the way the camera is operating, it's like it's super zoomed in on Josh Hartnett's face and the merch guy's face. And Josh Hartnett's like, "Hey, just curious, there's a lot of cops everywhere. Anything going on?" And the way he delivers the line, it's like, whoa, why is he being weird like this? He was acting perfectly normal. He was talking to people before without any problem. And then he turns into this just oddball. And the merch guy's not any better. He's like, "Oh man, we had this big meeting, and I guess a serial killer called the Butcher is at this concert, man. And we're setting up this big trap, and we're trying to trap everyone in here. And yeah, it's all going down." And he's telling them all this background information on how the SWAT team's going to come in and all this. And he even tells them the safe word. Josh Hartnett's like, "Can you tell me the safe word?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, it's Hamilton." And he's like, "Oh, thanks, bro." And then the merch guy's like, "Yeah, come back in 10 minutes. I'll hook you up." I get the venue has to tell all the employees that something weird's going down. But I don't know, the merch guy knew an awful lot. And it was a large exposition drop all in one spot. The movie was going great until then. And as soon as that scene happened, I was like, what was that? What did I just experience? Well, eventually this concert starts. And whenever this concert starts, Josh Hartnett does this little scene where he pulls up his phone and you see this guy trapped in a house. That's to tell you that he is the Butcher, and he looks a little worried. But Josh Hartnett, he's like, "Well, I gotta start looking for exits here," which he constantly leaves his daughter Riley behind, and he gives the dumbest excuses. He's like, "Hey, Riley, just stay here. Your dad's gotta go pee." Haha. And then 10 minutes later, he's like, "Oh, Riley, I'm gonna go walk by some other vendors, see what they got going on." And I think another moment too, he's like, "Riley, why don't you come with me?" And she's walking with him. And he's like, "Well, what if we go outside the venue and do something crazy?" And she's like, "Dad, what are you talking about? Let's just go back to the concert." And he's like, "Oh, right. Then there's a moment during the concert where Lady Raven, her boyfriend, comes out comes out of the ground, like a stage rises up. And like this guy who's a rapper, he starts like going down the lane, and Riley's going nuts. I mean, Lady Raven, she's kind of the equivalent to Taylor Swift or One Direction. Like all these teenage girls are screaming, going crazy over him. Josh Hartnett's just trying to figure a way out of this concert. And he sees the floor open up, and he's like, "Hey, Riley, what if we like snuck down, down underground, and we can like go see what's going on backstage?" And Riley's like, "What?" He's like, "Oh, like we could go like see like the different costumes and like maybe see how they organize the concert." And she's like, "Dad, we can't do that. Why are you being weird? Are you okay?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, sorry. And he's like, "No, I gotta go by the vendor again." And then he like goes away from her. I mean, this is clearly not Josh Hartnett's acting. I'm guessing this is M. Night Shyamalan's direction of, I don't know, like the script itself. It's kind of like you would think the daughter would be very worried that the dad keeps like going away every 10 minutes. Like, "Dad, why don't you just watch the concert? Like, you spent a lot of money on these tickets. Like, these aren't cheap." But he's like, "Oh, I like checking out vendors. I don't know." And then he's gone for like 30 minutes, and he comes back, and Lady Raven's still going. I mean, there are parts in this movie where like the movie will just pause, and you'll listen to one of Lady Raven's songs. And of course, it's M. Night Shyamalan's daughter. So, a lot of people are like, "Oh, nepotism." And I think there is an argument to that. Because I think if you ever want to rewatch this movie, you do got to sit through like all of her songs. Like, there are a lot of songs that she sings, and you do sit through quite a bit of a lot of them. So yeah, there is that aspect. Like, if you didn't like this movie, and one of the reasons is that, there's just too many songs, like, I get it. Did it ruin it for me? No. But I did notice it quite a bit. I mean, when I watched Smile 2, Smile 2 is about a pop star who gets haunted. And part of me was like, man, I wish they would have showed a lot more of the musical bits in Smile 2. I was really enjoying those. And in this movie, it's like kind of the opposite. It's like, I wish these two movies would have met in the middle somewhat. A little less Lady Raven performing and a little more performing in Smile 2. But you get what you get, I guess. And then another crazy moment. Josh Hartnett, he goes out to that merch guy, and the merch guy's like, "Hey man, I think the shirt's like down in the warehouse. I think I'm going to go check it out." And Josh Hartnett's like, "Oh, great. I'll go with you." And he just kind of like pauses, and he goes, "Okay." So then they both go like down into the warehouse. And like by this point, like the cops are everywhere. Literally this place is crawling with cops, the SWAT team. They're just everywhere. There's no one in the warehouse though. Like Josh Hartnett's able to go down there just fine. And while they're down there, the merch guy's like trying to get a box, and Josh Hartnett's like, "Oh, let me help you out," and like takes away one of his key fobs so that he can get in through other doors and stuff. And while that's going down, he gets like even more information from the merch guy, because the merch guy just knows everything. And there's even a point where the merch guy's like, "Hey, so about the butcher, are you squeamish or anything?" And Josh Hartnett's like, "Not really." And he's like, "Let me show you something." And he like pulls up pictures of like a victim that was like cut up, and like puts it an inch from Josh Hartnett's face. And he's like, "Check this out. Isn't this nuts?" And Josh Hartnett's like, "Oh, okay." Like, I mean, he's the one who committed the murders, and even he's like, "Dude, settle down. Like, you don't need to freak out about this. Like, why are you showing people my murders?" But yeah, the merch guy was definitely a weird character. Now, when Josh Hartnett's going on his strolls in the venue, you see different parts of the movie. Cops are like tackling random people in the hallways. They're pulling them out of the theater. And there's even a part to where he gets like an earpiece and he can hear what the cops are talking about. And they're like describing him to a T. Like, "Oh, he's brown hair, all this." And like, I'm pretty sure on the radio they're like, "We got an African American suspect here who might fit the crime of the butcher." And like, didn't they just say he was Caucasian? Maybe I misheard it. I don't know. But I'm like, Josh Hartnett is not African American. What are they doing? But there's a point in this movie. I mean, your suspension of belief, man. Like, it is insane. He goes into a room where there is a team of SWAT people. And he, like, just walks in there. And you would think if you were a normal person, or, well, if you were someone that is wanted and you see a room like that, you'd be like, yeah, I'm not going in that room. No, Josh Hartnett walks all the way in, and he's, like, eavesdropping on them, like, clear as day. Then he notices someone's coming in behind him. So he goes through the entire SWAT team. He's like, oh, gotta get my coffee. And like, it's not like he's being quiet, like, oh, excuse me, I need a drink of coffee. He's like, whoa, there's a lot of you. And they're just like, yeah, go, let him go. And even one of them's like, hey, can you give me some sugar? And Josh Hartnett, like, gets it for him. And then he, like, pulls out donuts. He's like, anyone want donuts? And yet no one questions him. There's even a point to where Josh Hartnett, he wants a distraction. So he goes and he takes these bottles and throws them like in a deep fryer. And one of the workers walks over and the bottles explode, which like shards of glass and hot grease or whatever like goes into her face. So it's like he pretty much invented like a bomb, and people are freaking out, screaming, and he like wanders off and goes through the roof level. And when he does, there's SWAT team members there, and they're like, whoa, what are you doing? And he like acts like an employee. He's like, oh man, there's a big accident down there. And the SWAT guys are just like, are you kidding me? A big kitchen accident? Of course, this day's getting chaotic. And they're like, do you know the safe word? Yeah, Hamilton. And then he pulls out one of the other guys' wallets and shows the card, and they're like, oh, you're good to go, man, you're fine. Again, you would think he would get caught easily. Like, I know you gotta put yourself in the world of the movie, but man, oh man, like, the way of how aggressive these cops are and the SWAT team members are, but yet they just cannot get Josh Hartnett, who's just walking around clear as day. He's even got a tattoo on his arm that's an animal, and that was one of the indicators, like, look for the animal. And he puts a little bracelet on it that barely covers it up. This guy would have been found super easily, but they got to make him seem like a mastermind, even though he is not, the way he was wandering around this place. Now, I will say all this stuff that I have mentioned, you would think that I would hate this movie. I will say it is entertaining, and there are parts that I was laughing because it was just so kooky. It's almost like American Psycho meets Serial Mom. I don't know. I don't know how to describe this like first half of the movie or first 2/3 of the movie. But I will say I was laughing. I was kind of having a good time, and I was almost kind of poking fun at it, but it was still fun. Even the part to where how he gets out of the concert. I mean, like he tricks these people. He goes up and says, hey, my daughter had leukemia. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. And they're like, oh man, we got to get her on stage for the last song. And well, he does. Like him and Riley, they go backstage. He's like, Riley, it's your dream. Go out there. And he's like being kind of a proud father, but still looking for exits and still trying to figure out how he's going to get out of there. And then, like, to top it all off, Lady Raven's like, oh, thank you so much for coming. He goes, Lady Raven, can I talk to you for a moment? And they go into a room all by themselves. And man, if this was Taylor Swift, there is no way that some girl's dad's going to be like, yo, Taylor, I need to talk to you for a second. And they go into a room all alone without any bodyguards or security, especially when the supposed butcher is at this concert. And Lady Raven, even before this moment, she's like walking around, she's going up to the director like, have you caught him? No luck yet? Oh, dang. Like, Lady Raven's like super worried about it. But anyways, they go into the room, and Josh Hartnett, I'm like, okay, how's he going to talk his way out of this one? No, he just flat out goes, listen, I'm the butcher. You better get me out of here. And like shows the guy on the phone who he has trapped. And he's like, I can have carbon dioxide flood into his room and kill him if you don't take me in your limo and get us out now. So they're in the limo, which is pretty funny. But then, like, this is when it kind of starts to go downhill for me. We already got a lot of Lady Raven performing, doing the concert stuff. But then Lady Raven kind of pulls an audible and says, hey, Riley, you mind if I check out your home? Wouldn't that be cool? And Riley's like freaking out. And she's like, oh my gosh, like Lady Raven's coming to my home. And so like Josh Hartnett's like all ticked off, like giving her looks, like he's mad. And Lady Raven goes to their home. And it kind of starts like this whole third act of like Lady Raven versus the Butcher. And they're going back and forth. Lady Raven's trying to expose him. Eventually she takes his phone and takes Riley's phone and then has her own phone, goes into the bathroom, goes on Facebook Live or whatever, and starts outing him like, oh, the killer's right here. We need to help the person that's trapped. And, again, person of her stature, if she was the T Swift, if T Swift went live and said, I know who such and such is, they're a serial killer, like the SWAT team would be there within seconds. But Josh Hartnett, he has enough time. Well, he's just like knocking. He's like, let me in. And you'd think if he's this crazy serial killer, he would have been like, they would have been doing The Shining. Like he should have had an axe and he should have been like going through the door like, bah! No, he just very frustratedly knocks on the door until he's able to unlock it eventually. He's like, I locked my family in the house. And he gets his phone back and all this stuff. The police do come, but of course the Butcher has ways to escape that. And it does like a fake out ending, like 2 or 3 different times. Which I could go through all of it. One of them, he disguises himself as her limo driver. Then another one, he goes back home and talks to his wife, and his wife was the one who set him up. My big knock on the ending, I mean, if you're gonna knock it for having like a bunch of fake out endings, you could do it for that. But I was like, oh, whatever. Like, we'll see where it goes. My big knock on it is I felt like by the end, I wasn't sure how I was supposed to feel about the Josh Hartnett character. Because in the very beginning, I liked him. But then when he started getting all weird and oddball, I was like, okay, I don't know if I'm supposed to be on his side or not. I think I am. And I still was. But then it got to parts to where, like, he was going to kill his wife. And she seemed pretty innocent, even though she did call in on him. I mean, he is butchering people. So, by the end, when he's, like, having the confrontation with the wife and disguising himself as Lady Raven's limo driver, and they're going back and forth. Am I supposed to be in Lady Raven's corner or his corner? I don't know. So it was just very kind of difficult to... I don't know. I don't know how I just felt about him as a character. I mean, like, where I thought the movie was going to go with the ending, I thought whenever she went on Facebook Live and they all showed up and the family kind of got out of the way, I thought we were going to kind of see a John Wick type killer, like taking down SWAT team members and maybe going down in a blaze of glory, like them shooting him up while he takes down like 15 different officers. I thought that could have been a cool way, or maybe he takes down 10 and then there's just like no sign of him. It's like, oh, where is he? And movies love sequels, like that could have been a cool way. They're like, oh, what's he going to do next? Will he ever talk to his family again? And they even... I don't know. I just felt like there was a lot of missed opportunity in the ending. The ending just didn't feel satisfying, if that makes sense. So, I mean, overall, the positives, Josh Hartnett, he did a great job. Whatever emotion that M. Night Shyamalan wanted him to do, I thought he knocked it out of the park. There was times he seemed like a legit psycho. There was times he seemed like a caring dad. There was times he seemed endearing, like he's talking about not being able to see his kids grow up. Kind of had a little emotional tinge to it. And there's times like he wasn't that likable at all, but he demonstrated all those emotions effortlessly, at least it seemed. The girl who played Riley, she did a great job. His wife, I'm pretty sure the girl who played his wife was the girl who played in American Horror Story in the cult season. And in that season, there was a big reveal that she turned on her spouse. She was the reason why bad things happened. Like, she turned on her wife. And in the beginning, whenever you first see her, I was like, wouldn't it be funny if, like, she was the reason why bad things happened? Like, maybe she was the killer, or she was the reason why, there was the big trap at the concert. And then that's what it turned out to be. Like, she turned on her spouse again. I just thought it was kind of a funny coincidence there. But yeah, first 2/3 of the movie, they were entertaining enough. The negatives, a lot of Lady Raven performing her concert. A lot of music that you have to watch just because she's M. Night Shyamalan's daughter. There's a lot of goofy moments. There's a lot of moments to where the direction of the movie, it's like, why are they making him talk like that? Why is the merch guy just dumping all the information to our main character? Why is he letting our main character go down to the downstairs department and let him go wherever he wants? Why aren't the police being more aggressive? There's a lot of just plot holes that allow him to escape from the police. And by the end of the movie, he's almost like Michael Myers. Like, they go to capture him and he's running off down an alley. Somehow the thousands of people surrounding the limo did not see him. So there's a lot of that, and I just wasn't that big of a fan of the ending. I mean, overall, it's a pretty silly movie, just to be honest. And sometimes M. Night Shyamalan movies are like that, It's like a box of chocolates. Sometimes you get a really awesome caramel tasting one, and sometimes you get the nasty orange flavor. Who knows what you'll get? So that's my review to Tramp. If you're still listening, thank you so much for listening. Feel free to give this video a like. Gets it out to other people. Subscribe if you haven't. And again, if you're listening, thank you so much. It means a lot. And until next time.